Now here's Silicon Valley. So in Boston there are 19, and in Silicon Valley there are 69 companies. And what you see, again, are we've picked up a larger number of companies, and you now have, see, Adobe wasn't on the other list. You have Adobe, Allergen, which is a spinoff from Hewlett Packard, what else? Cisco. So we had before Juniper, JDS. So we're picking up a lot more companies, SanDisk, etc. Now, one thing to note is that the Bay Area and the Boston area are roughly the same size in terms of demographics. It's roughly the same population, roughly the same land area. Here's Seattle. Now I stuck Amazon in here. Standard & Poor's categorizes Amazon as a retailer, which is kind of interesting, given all of the technology. And here's San Diego and Los Angeles. So in addition to Qualcomm, we have places like SAG, WebSense, Western Digital, Semtech, Logic, Microsim, which are smaller companies in the Los Angeles area. And New York. New York, again, we see that the technology companies that are in New York tend to not be companies that we would categorize as being technology sector companies that we would look at as being technology sector companies. Now, what do you notice between these two sets? This is an extra credit question. When you look at the companies in Boston and the ones that are in Silicon Valley, what strikes you as being different between them?
Spread out. Huh. Not clumped.
Geographic concentration?
That's a good one. So the companies in the Boston area do tend to be spread out.
Yeah.
And you'll see if you zoom in on this, there's a really tight cluster of companies right here. Another difference between the two sets of companies?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There's a lot of hardware orientation in Boston. Here's one of the differences. There's a lot of semiconductor companies in Silicon. So you have companies like Intel, Altera, Xilinx, LSI. What's another difference? Yes. So there are a lot of companies that in the Silicon Valley consumers actually would know. They know who Google is. They know who Yahoo is.
Oh, yeah.
They know who Intuit is. They know who Apple is. And when you look at the Boston companies, people don't know Mercury Systems. They don't know Teradyne. They don't know Progress Software. If they're involved in media, they may know Apple in terms of editing systems. Also, in Silicon Valley, there are a lot of companies that you would consider would be part of Internet, part of the Internet marketplace, the Internet sector. And they're the only company in the Boston area that you really consider to be part of the Internet sector. And Akamai is the most successful company on this list. There's another thing that you notice, and that's that there aren't any large, older companies. Hewlett Packard, Apple, those are all companies. One of the companies that used to be most often compared with debt was Hewlett Packard. Those two companies were often juxtaposed and compared with each other. And when you look in the Boston area, there isn't that kind of an older company that serves as an anchor for smaller companies around. And so I looked at the founding dates of all of these companies, and I went back and did a cut at 20 years. So what companies were founded before 1989 and what companies were founded after 1989. And in the Boston area, there's only one company since 1989 that was founded in the S&P 1500 technology sector, and that's Akamai. So Akamai keeps on coming up. There's a pattern. And this is a list for the S&P 1500. And so what you notice is that there are 19 companies founded in the Bay Area in the past 20 years. And the reason I picked 20 years is that if you were going to get involved in the internet and any of the things that were developing the internet, the earliest that you would have really gotten started was about 20 years ago. So that's really this kind of cutoff between when you were going to get involved in the internet and when you were doing older, more traditional IT-like computing. And so you see here a number of companies that fall within the internet environment. eBay, Juniper Networks, which people wouldn't know, but is core routers for the internet. NVIDIA, Netgear, Palm, Yahoo, etc. Salesforce.com. Now, if you plot when these companies were founded, this is the graph you get. Now, interestingly, Massachusetts was more of a center of technology up until the mid-'80s. Prior to that, if you did any of these kind of comparisons, you'd have many more companies in the Boston area. You'd have many more employees in the Boston area. So something happened in this period where you can see that a lot of companies were founded in the early 80s. So each one of these squares is the founding date of the company. So in 1983, there were roughly 7 companies founded in Silicon Valley and no companies in Massachusetts. And the other thing that's surprising about this is that California, or the LA area, Southern California, is actually fairly well represented there. I wasn't expecting that when I was originally looking at this data. And the other thing that is sad about this is that this 20-year, this period, which is actually longer than 20 years. This is 1987. I forget which company this was. This one, 1987. But there's a period of 12 to 13 years where there were no companies founded in the Boston area that made it into this.
Doesn't this coincide with the rise of PC?
It does. But when you look at these companies, you find out that none of them are really PC oriented.